Welcome to the Haunted Hour, where real fear lives. Late one evening, a woman named Claire stayed late at work. Her office building was nearly empty by the time she finished. Most employees had left hours earlier. The hallways were quiet, the lights dim, and outside, the city had already slipped into night. At around 11:38 p.m., Claire packed her things and headed toward the elevators. She worked on the 12th floor. Normally, the building felt busy and alive during the day, but at night it felt completely different. Silent, still, almost abandoned. Claire pressed the elevator button and waited. Moments later, the elevator doors slid open, empty. She stepped inside and pressed the button for the lobby. The doors closed. The elevator began descending. 12, 11, 10. Everything seemed normal until suddenly the elevator stopped. Hard. The lights flickered once. Claire frowned and looked at the display. Floor 9. But she hadn't pressed that floor. The doors slowly opened. The hallway outside was dark, completely empty. No lights, no movement. Claire leaned forward slightly, expecting someone to step inside. But no one did. After a few seconds, the doors closed again. The elevator continued downward. 8, 7, 6. Claire shook her head, assuming it was just a glitch. Older buildings sometimes had strange elevator problems, but when the elevator reached floor 4, it stopped again. The doors opened, and once again, no one was there. The hallway was completely empty, but something about it felt wrong. The lights in the corridor flickered faintly, and Claire had the strange feeling she was being watched. She quickly pressed the door close button. The doors shut immediately. The elevator continued moving. 3, 2, then suddenly, the elevator stopped again, but this time, the screen didn't show a number. Instead, it displayed something strange. B2, Claire stared at it. The building only had one basement level. B1. There was no B2. Before she could react, the doors opened slowly. Darkness filled the hallway outside. There were no lights, just a black corridor stretching into nothing. Claire felt a wave of unease wash over her. She didn't step out. Instead, she repeatedly pressed the close door button. The doors hesitated for a moment, then finally closed. The elevator began moving again. Moments later, it reached the lobby. Claire stepped out quickly, relieved. She left the building and drove home, trying to forget the strange ride. The next morning, she told a co-worker about what happened. They both laughed it off as an elevator malfunction. But later that day, building security called Claire into their office. They had reviewed the elevator's CCTV footage. At first, everything looked normal. Claire entering the elevator, pressing the lobby button, standing alone. But when the elevator stopped at floor 9, something appeared on camera. As the doors opened, a shadow moved inside the elevator. No person entered. No figure could be clearly seen. But the camera showed something shifting behind Claire, like someone stepping in. Claire never turned around. She never noticed. Security continued reviewing the footage. When the elevator stopped at floor 4, the same thing happened. The shadow moved closer, standing directly behind her, but the most disturbing moment came next. When the elevator stopped at B2, the camera suddenly glitched. Static filled the screen for nearly 5 seconds. When the footage returned, Claire was no longer standing alone for a single frame. A dark figure stood beside her, facing the camera. Then the image returned to normal, Claire alone again. Security searched the building records. There was no B2 level. The elevator system had never been programmed to stop there. And the security logs showed no one else entering the elevator that night. Claire refuses to use that elevator now. She takes the stairs, even 12 floors, because the security guard told her one last thing before she left, when the doors opened at B2. The hallway camera outside the elevator captured something, a shape standing in the corridor, waiting. Sometimes, the scariest places you can go are the ones that don't officially exist. And remember, some stories aren't meant to be heard after midnight. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. And join us again for more terrifying encounters on The Haunted Hour.